Hey YouTube, we're back with another crime story. If you like what you hear, comment, subscribe, and like. Don't forget to hit the notification button. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. This crime story will be about Cesar Barone. You guys have probably never heard of him, or maybe you have, but I didn't. I did some research on him and he's a pretty interesting character. Cesar Barone, aka, he was born Adolph James Rode. He was born December the 4th, 1960 in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He was the youngest. He had an older brother and sister. When Adolph, aka Cesar, was 3 years old, his mother left his father for another man. Now, he stayed in the custody of his father, and a year later, they both divorced. Now, Cesar was raised by his dad and his stepmother. Her name was Brenda, but I did research and it did state that his mother would visit him and his brother and sister. His early childhood, I didn't see any documentation of neglect or abuse. It was quite the opposite. They lived in an upscale neighborhood. I mean, they even had their own swimming pool, which I'm pretty sure, back in the day, whenever he was, a kid, that was pretty big. Like, they had their own swimming pool. His stepmom, Brenda, did notice something was a little different about Adolph. He had some behavior issues, and she would try to discipline him, but they just didn't work. She mentioned this to his father, that he might need some psychiatric treatment, but his father never followed through and got him any type of counseling. In nursery school, he would steal toys from other kids. Like, he had issues early on. He got expelled from kindergarten. In the first grade, he would bully kids, threaten them with knives, and stated that he would poke them with cigarettes. In his teenage years, he was caught burglarizing other people's home, shoplifting, he was doing drugs, and also harassing older people in his neighborhood. He seems like a lazy criminal because you couldn't even travel outside of your neighborhood to harass people like you wanted to get caught, if you ask me. That's my opinion. Now, Brenda at this time, she had enough. She had enough. Talking to his dad wasn't getting nowhere. The punishment that she was trying to force upon Cesar didn't help. So she just said, I'm out. And she ended up leaving her dad. It felt as if he won, and she just threw her hands up. You got what you wanted, Adolph. You got your dad all to yourself now. In October 1975, Cesar broke into Miss Alice Stock's home and threatened her with a knife. He demanded that she get undressed, but she was so frozen in fear that she just stood there, and he ended up leaving her home. For the crime against Miss Stock, he did get time in a reform school. December 1977, at the age of 17, he did get 3 years in Florida for burglary. His fingerprints were a match, and he did time in a low-level prison. But it wasn't a hard time. It was a real chill place. As long as you behaved and you did your job, they didn't press you too much. During his young adult life, he was questioned and released on a number of burglary charges. But the Florida system at that time, it allowed young, non-violent offenders to bypass hard prison time. At first, when he was there, he was, behaving himself, following the program. And so they thought, maybe this did it. This is it. He's on the straight and narrow. But, Cesar was kind of one of them people that just can't get right, can't do right. Just 7 months shy of his 3-year sentence, he failed to report to his assigned job, and there was also suspicion of him stealing. So they end up shipping his ass back, and he did not get early parole. By November 1979, he was released from prison. Now, you all remember Miss Alice Stock, who he had initially got into the big trouble with. Well, 2 weeks after his release, she was found and sexually, I can't say the word. And all signs point to him. It wasn't confirmed, but all signs did point to him. In 1980, a tragedy hit his family. His older brother, Ricky, died in a car accident. And at the funeral, Brenda, his stepmother, she all but said the wrong child died. Now, that was the wrong thing for her to say, but emotions run high, and sometimes those things are said, what you think are said out loud. To make up for it, because she knew she had messed up, she gifted Cesar with a car. Now, a month later, Cesar called Brenda and said that, he's having difficulty getting over the tragedy of his brother dying. He just wanted to come over there and talk to her. So, of course, like any stepmother would, come on, baby, come on and let's talk about this. I'm very upset too. Wrong. That was a wrong thing for her to do. They're talking, and as he gets up to leave, he turns around and attacks Brenda. He assaults her, and during the assault, he tells her, I've been wanting to do this for years. Now, somehow, she got away and was held up in the bathroom, and he couldn't get her out the bathroom, so he eventually left. After the assault, Brenda calls his dad and tells him what happened, but they decided together they wouldn't go to the police. But his dad decided that he would no longer be part of their family. In April of 1980, he attacked 70-year-old Maddie Marino. Now, she was his grandmother on his mom's side. He beat her with a rolling pin and his hands, his fists. Now, he didn't, murder her, but he stopped attacking her and instead took her checkbook and money and left. This just is a bad dude. Like, I don't think it was any hope for him. He just seemed like you attack your grandmother. Like, who does that? Now, for some reason, he didn't get charged with the attack of his grandmother. I'm not sure if maybe because she was so old and due to the attack, she couldn't remember what exactly happened. I couldn't find information regarding that. It's just that he didn't get charged with that. Now, instead, he did get his parole revoked for some other burglary charges and went to jail. He was sentenced to 5 years, but he just, I don't know, but he could have been out in 2 if, of course, he had followed all the rules, but he just couldn't get right. Like, he's just one of them dudes that just couldn't get right. He fought other inmates. left his work area, cursed the guards out. He tried to escape. And with all the infractions, he got another year added to his sentence. In 1983, while he was in prison, he attacked a female guard. He tried to remove her clothing and strangle her. Thank goodness she got the upper hand and was able to get away. With all these issues with Cesar, the prison system decided to send him to Florida State Prison. It was considered at that time to be for high-risk inmates. In the Florida State Prison is where he met Ted Bundy. It was said that he would often converse with him and pick Bundy's brain on how not to get caught. Like, he often bragged with the inmates that he knew and talked to Ted Bundy. In July of 1986, he answered an ad in the newspaper from Kathy Scarborough. I hope I'm saying it right. Now, she lived in Seattle. Now, baby, he fed her a ton of bullshit. He lied to her and said that he was in the Italian Special Forces. I don't even know if they got that. I don't know if he does or not. Said he was Italian. During this time talking to her, he did decide to change his name from Jimmy or Adolf to Cesar Barone, which is an Italian name. Now, he did get an early parole date. It seems like maybe Kathy got him to behave a little better. So he did get an early parole date in 1987, and the pair finally met face to face in Seattle. Kathy and him did get married, and they do have a child together. But Cesar he could not hold down a job. It's like he would get a job and then quit or get fired. I'm not sure. He couldn't hold down a job. So he decided to join the army. But in 1990, he got kicked out when he was accused of exposing himself. Now, he was a pervert. Exposing himself to a female officer. And then that's when they learned, because remember, he had changed his name from Adolf Rode to Cesar Barone. So that's when the army found out, like, this dude didn't change his name. He has all these offensive, like, he's a pervert. He's a sick dude. We got to get him out of here. After the military, his killing spree in Oregon started. In January of 1991, Barone attacked 61-year-old Margaret Smith in her home, where he essayed her and strangled her to death. And then in October of 1992, he shot 41-year-old nurse Martha Bryant in her car. He dragged her out of the vehicle, essayed her, and then shot her. Just 2 months later, he was sick. He was a sick butthole. He beat and essayed a 23-year-old Shantae Woodman before shooting her, and then he just dumped her body by the side of the road. In January of 1993, he attacked a 51-year-old Betty Williams in her Portland apartment. Now, during the attack, she did unfortunately die of a heart attack, but still, regardless, if, cause and effect, if he hadn't been messing with her, she might have lived several years. So, a month later after Miss Williams' death, he was caught and arrested, and his sentence for the murders, because they tied them all back together, was 89 years plus life. In 2009, on Christmas Eve, Cesar Barone did pass away. I believe he had a tumor that was pinning his heart. I can't verify or say for sure that it wasn't cancer, but that is what killed him. So we didn't get justice because he did get the death penalty, but he died of natural causes, I guess. So what do you guys think about this case? Have you ever heard about this man before? Did we get the justice? Did the justice system or the legal system, did they give him too many chances? Because for me, I think he had too many chances. I feel as if he had been born now with the behavioral problems that he did have. I don't know, but maybe with treatment, they could have got him help. I'm not sure. I know some kids, they said that they just can't be helped and they're locked away in a medical facility or mental facility for the rest of their life. And if that's what keeps us safe, unfortunately, I have to agree with that. But again, what do you guys feel? Leave a comment, because as you know, I love reading your comments and nobody's leaving me comments. But I want to hear what you guys have to say. I love interacting with you guys. And as always, thank you for spending your time with me. Kiss your family and hug them next. See you guys next video.